Welcome back to Empower Your Digital Life, a podcast where we help you take charge of your digital literacy and stay ahead in the digital world. I'm your host, Isaac, and today we have a very special guest, Miss Marianne. She's one of our students here at Culver City Senior Center, and recently she had a data breach, something that has left her devastated, afraid, and not sure on what to do. So we decided to bring her on this podcast so we can discuss this together, so we can highlight the dilemma or the struggle our seniors go through every day just to survive in the world driven by technology, and yet they were not prepared in advance to have such drastic change in a very short time. So we hope that every viewer out there who will be watching this, it could highlight the struggles seniors around all of us. And it would be like a wake-up call to help us and try to reach out to seniors in our lives and see how we can help them. So I will introduce Miss Marianne. Miss Marianne, please help us introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Marianne. I'm a widow. I'm 79 years old. For 7 years, I was a teller at Wells Fargo in Playa Vista, and then I lost my job, and so I signed up for a computer class at the computer center.
Okay, thank you very much. So as you can hear that, first of all, it's very hurtful that someone who is already at a retirement age and worked all her life and then retired, that she has to go back to the market to look for a job at such an advanced age. You can see where our society is taking us. As we have this discussion today, I would like to highlight the struggles once again. I don't think people should be unretiring. I mean, it's different if someone is still young and can unretire and go back to work. But someone who is really at the age of retirement shouldn't be unretiring in order to make ends meet. But this is where we are. This is where our economy today has brought us. Marianne, I have a few questions that I prepared for you today, so your answers would help us communicate this message to the general public and see how we can help each other. What inspired you to start looking for a job?
I need to pay my property taxes, which are $17,200 a year. I have a pension and I have Social Security, but it's not enough to cover the property taxes and the other expenses. So that's why I signed up for the computer class to improve my computer skills to get a remote job.
I think you've heard that. Property bill every year is $17,000. Just imagine that. I mean, it's almost like you never bought a house. $17,000 is a lot of money for a house that you live in, I think that's very absurd. This is something that really needs attention. But anyway, the point is, because her income is no longer enough to cover her bills, she has been forced to go back to look for a job so she can supplement her income, but most importantly, to be able to afford to pay her taxes, her yearly property taxes and any other expenses that she has. Marianne, another question I have for you is, prior to applying for that job on ZipRecruiter, had you ever applied on or used any other website to look for a job?
No. I know about Indeed and Upwork, but I went to ZipRecruiter because I thought it was easier to use.
Okay. Thank you for that. This incident, can you walk us through slowly, step by step, exactly on what happened and what you experienced and how you came to realize that you had been breached?
I received a text message supposedly from Black & Decker, saying they found my resume on ZipRecruiter and that they wanted to know if I wanted to participate in an interview the next day on Microsoft Teams.
Okay.
I would have to download Microsoft Teams to my computer if I didn't have it and have the interview the next day.
Okay. And you went ahead, you were excited, I believe.
I was excited. It was a good job. The salary was good. And it was 30 hours a week, which would work with my schedule. So I went to Microsoft Teams the next day and I signed on, and there was a person there whose name was Andy Williams. It wasn't a video call, it was a chat.
It was a chat.
And it lasted for 2 hours.
2 hours.
2 hours. And they asked me very detailed questions about my work experience and how I would handle the remote position. They also asked me personal information, my name, my address, my phone number, my birth date, things like that.
Okay. As you can see, she went to a legitimate website. ZipRecruiter is a very legitimate website where companies and other organizations post their jobs. Now, when you post for a job and the next day you receive communication from anybody telling, especially the company, what's the name of the company?
Black & Decker.
Black & Decker, which is one of the largest companies in the United States, telling you that they liked your resume. It sounded like something or someone with skills that they can use. And you go ahead and you get ready for the interview. You prepare yourself for your interview. You're excited. You tell your family. In fact, you feel relieved. I believe you felt relieved because you knew that at least that income would supplement and still allow you to work from home, meaning you're with your family, so it wouldn't have to change your life so much.
Right.
You answered all the questions they asked.
I answered all the questions they asked.
You provided them your personal information.
I provided my personal information. It lasted for 2 hours. At the end of 2 hours, they said they would come back to me in an hour with the results of my interview and a score. So they came back in an hour and they said I scored 93% on the interview, and they would be in touch with me with further information about equipment purchases and what I would need. I would need Apple computers. And this was one red flag when I said I use a Windows-based system, not an Apple system. And they came back, are you prepared to do this job? So that was kind of an odd thing that happened.
Okay. So as you can see, the interview was legitimate. She received this contact after she had posted for a job, meaning she was expectant that someone may see her resume and reach out. And indeed, someone reached out. And of course, they presented themselves like from Black & Decker. And of course, being such a big company, she was excited. She felt relieved that at last she may find a job that she'll be able to work from home at her convenience, but most importantly, supplement her income. So that means that these scammers or people who compromised her information or people who invited her for the interview got her personal information from ZipRecruiter. So as you can see, it's really very difficult to tell something that's legitimate and that's not. It can happen to young people who have been around technology for a long time. How about seniors who are barely learning the ins and outs of technology? Technology is like any other language. It has so much ins and outs. It's not something that you can learn in a month or 2 or 3. It's a continuous process of learning. And scammers are very smart too. They adapt. They know things that people don't know. They jump on things and they try to mislead you in every possible way. You can see, in my opinion, you were hurt twice because first of all, you're not getting the job that you're hoping you are getting. Secondly, you have given away your personal information. Mm-hmm. You know, your expectations are shattered. Mm-hmm. You know,
they were.
That's very absurd. When did you realize that something wasn't right, or what are the signs that you saw that woke you up?
After they came back to me and said that I had scored well and they would come back to me about equipment purchases, I told my daughter I was very excited, and I said, I think I have a job and they're going to come back to me about the equipment purchases and how that worked. And she said, what was it? And I said it was a video chat. It wasn't a video call. And she said, that's very unusual to not have a video call and to only have a video chat. She said, why don't you Google and see if there are any scams with Black & Decker positions? So I did Google it, and it came up there was a scam. It was an AI bot, and they got not only they hacked my browser and my phone. So I was devastated.
You were devastated.
I was devastated.
So I think we can take that as a lesson for those who are watching. If you applied for a job somewhere and they invited you for an interview, the least you could try to do is make sure you're on video whereby you can see the person you're talking to, you know. But the thing is, for quite a long time right now, our lives have been prepared to be automated. When I say automated, I mean when you call Wells Fargo or Bank of America, or you call T-Mobile or AT&T or any other big organizations, you are answered by a robot that tells you, please explain to me, as though you are talking to a person. And we have been on this for quite some time, that if you applied for a job and they call you for an interview and it's a chatbot or it's someone without video, you intend to trust it because you've already been corresponding and discussing with people that you don't see face to face. So it doesn't make you suspect anything. And then, of course, when you are a senior and you don't understand what scams are and how advanced and the different tricks that scams keep employing, it's really hard to tell the difference between the real deal and what's not.
It is.
How did you feel once you realized that your information has been compromised and it was not even a job available for you as you had anticipated?
I was devastated. On my phone, when I sent a text, there was someone else on my phone. I felt violated. I couldn't trust my phone. I couldn't trust my computer. I went to the computer class and I told you, and you helped me with two-step verification and to change all my passwords on my browser and my phone.
As you can see, when scammers compromise your information or steal your identity or get onto your computer or steal any other personal information that you hold, they simply don't steal your information. They destroy you. There's something, you feel violated. Like you feel violated at a level that's really hard to explain. And you see, the challenge is for seniors, because they don't understand technology very well, you don't even know where to start, you don't even know where to end, Now, everything that keeps changing on your cell phone or on your computer, you become suspicious.
Yeah.
Even things that are supposed to be normal, because unfortunately, the computers that we use, things keep changing now and then, You have Windows 10, the next day is Windows 11 comes, and then Windows 11 has an update, or you have an iPhone or an Android, they update the operating system. Now the apps look different. The apps are rearranged, the colors is different. So many things keep changing that there's no stability to know what you know. So when a compromise like this happens, I totally understand that it can take you off guard and you're always suspicious of everything.
I got so paranoid, Isaac. Everything that happened on the computer, I thought, this is part of the...
I mean, you have legitimate concern. You have a legitimate concern to feel like you're not so sure anymore. I've worked with Marianne trying to help her set up two-factor authentication. I helped her update her passwords, making sure putting checks and balances of everything in order to ensure that she's safe. But the thing is, the truth is, it's very complicated. Things keep happening and you feel suspicious. You can't trust anything now. That conviction in your mind to feel like you are trying to be safe and someone already took over your life. I really understand what you're going through. The most important I feel or wish is, if the society that we are living in, especially the companies, the big organizations and companies that are taking lead in this technological progress that we are running under, if they could start considering seniors, if they could put seniors in part of their discussions when they are creating new apps, when they are creating new technology, if they could provide resources or provide means to prepare and train the seniors, the opportunities. I've been teaching seniors for the last 5 years. We barely get any resources, We are a non-profit organization, but we have to spend our own money just to get seniors to go to class.
Yeah.
There are so many seniors. We work almost at every senior center in LA County. But there are no resources. There are so many seniors who want to take these classes, but there is not enough digital navigators to teach them. People have to make lines just to barely sign up for class, and then they realize the class is already full, and then they have to wait for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, so I really can relate to the to that dilemma and the pain that you're going through in one way, because I've been sitting alongside seniors for the last 5 years, and I see the pain they go through. You know, I'm really sorry about that, Marianne.
Yeah.
Another question I have for you: what has been the hardest part emotionally since this happened?
I had to go see a psychiatrist because I was so paranoid. I had to get medication to help dampen down my fear, because when something would happen on the computer, I would get heart palpitations and I would have trouble breathing, and I would be so physically upset that I couldn't think. So I had to go to a doctor and get some medication to help me with that. It's a little better now. I don't see as many instances where I think, oh, this is terrible, but it's still a big fear.
Still a big fear.
Yeah.
Our viewers, I think you can hear that. I mean, being a senior, you have so many things that you are always worried about. There's already so much struggles with our economy changing, with expenses. Like, she has that whole property bill every year. She's worried about her family. And then now you have something unexpected that's eating away on your life simply because you're not sure whether you're protected. The problem is you're not just feel unprotected, but you don't even know how to approach the problem. You know, that makes it really hard, because you put on two-factor authentication today, the next day it has changed to something else. I really would like to highlight this problem. To me, I feel like this is a pandemic. Seniors need our help. Seniors need our help in every possible way. And this is not something that can be done by an individual, by one organization or two, but this is a collective community effort. We need everybody hands on deck, because each one of us has a senior in our lives at some point. You could have your neighbor, you could have your grandmother, your grandfather, your aunt, your niece, your extended family, and things like that. So please, let us wake up and try to find ways to help our seniors, because they are not going to ask for help. It's important for us to start thinking for them to know that they need help here, and try to reach out to them and ask them how we can help them. Another question that I had prepared says, have you been able to sleep well or feel safe online since then?
No. I have trouble sleeping at night. When I think about it, I think, is this some criminal organization that's taken over my phone, or is it an individual? It was so bad that even my Roku TV was taken over, and there were purchases made on my Roku TV through the app. And I have trouble sleeping at night.
Yeah, that's a terrible feeling. If anybody can relate to that, you know, it's a terrible feeling to feel violated, and you unsure on the best way to approach the situation and bring back that peace of mind that you are now back safe. Marianne, what steps have you taken since to protect yourself?
Well, we worked closely together to change my passwords and to set up two-step verification. I purchased identity theft protection through Experian, which is expensive. It's like $25 a month. Yes. And I purchased Malwarebytes for my computer and my phone, and that was like $160. So, but that's only for 1 year, so you have to do it every year.
Yes.
But those things will give me a little peace of mind that if I do have my identity theft taken, I'll at least have some recourse.
Gotcha. Yeah, so as you can see, Marianne has taken some steps since then. She said that, first of all, she set up two-factor authentication. In fact, I helped her with this. We set up two-factor authentication for all her accounts that support this feature. Now, There are so many companies out there. In fact, I was so surprised that Capital One, which is one of the largest credit card companies, doesn't have two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication really helps. So I encourage companies out there, if you haven't implemented robust security features like two-factor authentication, I think you should jump on it. Marianne was able to set up two-factor authentication for most of her accounts that she has, her email address and everything else that she has. Now, when someone tries to sign into her accounts, even herself, when she tries to sign in, it sends her a security code through your text or your email, which you can authenticate, which is a very good thing. She also set up identity theft through Experian. Identity theft through Experian is whereby you lock your credit so that when someone tries to apply for any credit, anything, let's say rent an apartment or lease an apartment or buy a house or buy a car, and they try to use your information, your credit is locked, they will have to first call you, which is the phone number on file, to unlock that file, which gives you some degree of peace of mind. She has also bought antivirus Malwarebytes. In fact, Malwarebytes is pretty good. I'm not recommending it. I'm not promoting it, but it's a very good software that keeps your computer secure and safe. And on top of that, it also provides a feature where it scans the internet and sees where your information is publicly posted on the internet. Then it requests those people who are selling your information on the internet to remove it. Which gives you some degree of peace. But however, you can see she's complaining that it's expensive, and it's really expensive because $29.99 for Experian per month is expensive. You know, so Experian, if you're listening, I think you could give discounts to our seniors because they need this help. Most of the seniors' information was compromised not because of their own mistakes, but because of the mistakes the companies that gather this information ended up being compromised. I believe most of the companies from AT&T to T-Mobile to banks like Wells Fargo and Chase and Bank of America and so on and so forth, to mortgage companies, to real estate companies, they have been compromised at some point. When they compromise companies, they just don't compromise them. The victims are their customers because these are the people whose information has been collected for quite a long time. When they compromise them once, they've taken everything about you, your name, your social security number, your address, your phone number, and so on and so forth. So Experian and any other companies out there, if you can provide discounted rates for seniors so they are able to implement such mitigations to help themselves keep safe. Were you able to report this incident to anyone like ZipRecruiter or to the bank or to the police? Since this incident?
I wasn't able to make a police report because it's a nameless person.
Yes.
I have no person I can report. I went to my bank and I set up biometric login on my phone for my banking information, and I let them know that I had been the victim of a cyber attack.
Yes.
In case I had any problems with my bank account.
Yes.
So that there would be a footprint
that you reported it.
That I reported it, yes. And that there wouldn't be like a surprise.
Gotcha.
I couldn't do anything else.
Okay. As you can see, it's really very complex. It's a very complex situation because if you go to the police and tell them I've been a victim of a cyber crime, there's really hardly anything to report because there's no person to point to. Mm-hmm. You know, in fact, the police, a situation like that doesn't involve violence, they usually tell you to go and fill up a police report online. Mm-hmm. Most seniors don't know how to use the internet or how to fill up reports online. Or already someone is afraid because he's been compromised because she went online. She went on a legitimate website like Recruiter to ask for a job, and now she ended up being compromised. Now we see how difficult it is to go to the same internet to file a police report. Yeah. So it's really a very tricky environment that we are living in today. Mm-hmm. It's a very tricky environment. But I'm glad you did that. Hopefully things can start getting better and you can start taking control of your life again. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to other seniors who are out there hunting for a job?
If you can sign up for a computer class at a senior center, I would do that. Okay. Because it increases your knowledge about computers and yes. It will make you feel more safe knowing what you're doing. as opposed to being surprised all the time.
Yes.
And also to always have the two-step verification whenever you can, no matter what.
Gotcha. I think you've had that. That's a very, very good lesson to learn from this conversation today. Senior centers, community centers, libraries, if you can establish more computer classes for our seniors, because so many seniors need these classes. Our classes are always full, and unfortunately, we can only accommodate a few classes a day. But we need multiple classes so more students or more seniors are able to enroll. Many students at various senior centers are unable to enroll because there is not enough time. So I encourage senior centers, I encourage our political leaders, please let us reach out for our seniors. Let us try to teach them about internet. Let's teach them digital skills so they can become more independent. There are so many ways you can get involved. You can volunteer to teach a class. But most importantly, if you can't do anything, you can support the organizations that are putting in the effort to teach digital skills and internet technology to our seniors. If you could talk to the people who took your information, what would you want them to know?
How violated you feel and how they would feel if someone did that to you.
That's very good. That's very good. Just think about it. If this was your grandmother or your great-grandmother or your uncle or your niece or your neighbor, and you know that something like this has happened to them, how would you feel? See, this is one thing that we always, but criminals are criminals. But please ask yourself, how would you feel if this was happening to your grandmother? Because if you are doing it to another person's grandmother or great-grandmother or grandfather, just put yourself in the same shoes and have some empathy or sympathy so that you don't break people's lives. Our seniors today are not dying because they are sick or they are weak. They are dying because they are living in the world they no longer understand. And things like that keep them on their toes and give them high blood pressure and all the illnesses that are related to it. So please, let us have empathy in our hearts and look after for our seniors instead of causing more pain and trauma to them. What can companies or websites do better to protect seniors like yourself?
Well, obviously they should have two-factor authentication. That's the most important thing. And to have a means where you can feel comfortable that you're safe when you go on their website.
That's good. So companies out there, just like Marianne said, if you can implement protocols like two-factor authentication to keep our seniors safe, that would be great. But most importantly, if you could join the effort that's trying to teach them how to use your very websites, because it's different setting up two-factor authentication at your system, but you have not trained or facilitated the training of your customers in order to utilize your tools or your services better in a safer manner. What has helped you cope with fear and anxiety since?
Well, the medication helped.
Medication.
Something to slow my racing heart. But learning more has helped me.
Learning more has awareness.
Being more aware.
Yeah. You see, Marianne takes her classes at Culver City Senior Center, and the more classes she's been taking, the more comfortable and confident she's becoming. Because now she knows when she signs into her email, it will send her a two-factor authentication. In the beginning, it was difficult to look for where that two-factor authentication is, but she has come a long way and she's getting better. She knows how to spot scams. When she receives a text message that looks suspicious, she deletes it without trying to open it. When she receives an email that she's not so aware of, she deletes it. But most importantly, when she sees something that she doesn't understand or know, the next day she asks when she comes to class. This awareness is empowering her to take back her life, to feel more confident, and hopefully continue looking for that job. But you see, unfortunately, we are in a very competitive market today. Companies want to hire younger people. Many companies are laying off employees left and right, meaning the market is flooded with so many people looking for jobs. Now, imagine if your grandmother is out there still looking for a job instead of being retired. It's very absurd, but I call upon our government, I call upon our leaders, Let us do something. I think our nation, the United States of America, is wealthy enough that it can afford a good standard of living for our seniors who have worked tirelessly to bring us where we are today. Our advancement, our success has depended on the work they put in yesterday. And today we are enjoying all those benefits because of their hard work, the systems in which they paid. So please, let us feel empathy for them and let us do everything we can so that their golden years are lived in comfort and not fear all the time, and knowing what to do, not knowing the environment around you anymore. I think we can make them feel better. I think we can make them feel comfortable if we work together to make it happen. Marianne, what else? Is there anything else that you'd like to share with our listeners, especially other seniors who may be afraid of technology after hearing your story?
Don't be afraid to learn.
Don't be afraid to learn. That's very good, Marianne. Technology is here to help us, and technology can empower us in so many amazing ways. Don't fear it. So many bad things have always happened in the world since life started. People take good things and start using them for bad. So technology is here to help us. For example, we've been taking driverless car rides with some of our students. You see, a car can drive itself. That means if you need transportation 24 hours a day, by a press of a button, a car can come at your doorstep and take you wherever you want to go without interacting with anybody. So you can see how empowering knowing that you can be mobile at any given time. Mm-hmm. Our cell phones allow you to check your bank account at your fingertips at any given time. You're able to pay your bills by just pushing one button on your cell phone. You're able to check the weather from wherever you are. Mm-hmm. You're able to video call your family members who live overseas, who live very far away in different cities on different states, and you can interact with them on video. So all I'm trying to say is that technology is very empowering. Mm-hmm. So do not be afraid to learn how to use it. The more you learn it, the more empowered you will be and the more easier your life will get. Mm-hmm. Simply because these unfortunate things happen shouldn't stop you from enjoying your life. Mm-hmm. So I hope that you get better and get better. And thank you for coming for these classes.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing your message. I believe it will be empowering to all other seniors out there. For our viewers, thank you for watching. Until next time, we'll be bringing you more stories like this, because I believe that the more we highlight them, the more our world, the more our communities understand these things, and the more we find solutions as quickly as possible. Until next time, cheers. Thank you, Marianne.
Thank you, Isaac.